Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The Washington, D.C. sun had just broken through the windows of FBI headquarters, illuminating the sidewalks and the facades of neighboring buildings. Marcus Reynolds, an FBI agent for over 15 years, walked confidently toward his vehicle. He had just finished a confidential report on a sensitive international fraud case, and all he wanted was to go home and enjoy the evening with his family. The parking lot, normally quiet at this early hour, seemed strangely silent. The birds sang timidly, as if warning of an impending storm. As Marcus opened his car door, a sharp voice startled him. "Hey! Stop right there." He looked up and saw Darren Cole, a local police officer known for his racial prejudices, walking forward with an arrogant smile. Marcus immediately felt a shiver of unease. He had heard about Cole's questionable methods before, but he never imagined he would be targeted personally. "Give me your wallet," Cole ordered, his eyes shining with a mixture of contempt and unjustified anger. Marcus stopped abruptly. "Excuse me? You've got the wrong person." But Cole wasn't listening. He stepped forward menacingly, grabbed Marcus's arm, and forced his body against the hood of his car. Passers-by looked away, some too intimidated, others shocked. Marcus's heart was pounding, but he remained calm, knowing that any mistake could make things worse. "I asked for your wallet," repeated Cole, louder this time, the hatred in his voice perfectly audible. Despite the humiliation, Marcus refused to submit completely. Enraged by this refusal, Cole violently searched Marcus's pockets and snatched his wallet, sending it crashing to the floor. His ID, credit cards, and a few personal photos scattered around them. Marcus felt his blood boil, but he remained silent, vowing that justice would be served. Behind the scenes, Sergeant Elena Martinez watched, huddled in the shadow of a pillar. Her eyes were fixed on Cole, and her fist clenched. She knew his reputation and knew that this time, he had gone too far. The scene was unfolding exactly as she feared, and she knew she had to intervene before the situation escalated further. While Cole laughed, convinced of his impunity, Marcus regained his composure and noted every detail of this humiliation. This theft wasn't just an act of violence, it was a symbol of the deep-rooted racism that plagued certain institutions. But Marcus knew one thing: this affront would not go unpunished. And in the distance, Elena Martinez discreetly signaled to her colleague to call in internal affairs. The storm had just begun. The whistling of the wind in the parking lot seemed to amplify every sound, every footstep. Marcus Reynolds, his wallet found half on the ground, was catching his breath. Darren Cole, ever arrogant, stood with his arms crossed, as if he had accomplished a heroic mission. Suddenly, an icy voice echoed behind him. "Darren, what exactly are you doing?" Cole turned around abruptly. Elena Martinez, a respected sergeant known for her impartiality, was walking purposefully forward. Her eyes left no room for doubt. She had seen the whole thing. "Sergeant, it's nothing, just a routine check," Cole stammered, trying to keep his composure. "Don't lie to me, Cole," Elena retorted, her voice firm and authoritative. "You just stole from a federal agent and publicly humiliated him. You know that's illegal, don't you?" Cole swallowed. The arrogance that characterized him was crumbling slightly. I just wanted to," he stammered, unable to finish his sentence. Marcus, straightening up, spoke calmly but with a cold intensity. "Sergeant Martinez is right. You abused your power, and that's precisely why men like you make the police lose faith." Elena approached, placing a firm hand on Marcus's shoulder to reassure him. "I'll take care of this. Stay calm and let justice take its course." Cole, humiliated but still on the defensive, began to protest. "You can't arrest me. It's my right." Elena didn't flinch. "Oh yes, she did. Your actions have been recorded, and I'm going to make sure everything goes all the way to the Internal Inspection Department. You're going to have to answer for your actions." A heavy silence fell over the parking lot. Passers-by had stopped to watch. Some whispered amongst themselves, others discreetly took pictures. Cole looked around, realizing for the first time that his reputation as a racist and violent police officer had just turned against him. Marcus slowly retrieved his wallet, checking that nothing had been irretrievably lost. His breathing calmed, but he still felt that simmering anger. He knew that this theft and humiliation were only the beginning. For him, this injustice now had to be transformed into solid evidence against Cole. Elena made a discreet gesture to her phone. Internal inspection is underway. You'll have to answer for your actions, Cole. And I advise you to think about your choices. Cole looked away, unable to reply. He felt the trap closing around him, and for the first time, he understood that Marcus Reynolds was not a man who could be intimidated with impunity. The days following the incident were a mixture of tension and planning. Marcus Reynolds knew that anger wasn't enough. He had to act strategically to ensure that Cole couldn't escape justice. Settled in his apartment, Marcus spent hours rereading Cole's reports and analyzing his habits within the police department. He had realized one thing: Cole thought he was untouchable, but his overconfidence was his weakness. Every action leaves a trace, every lie has a witness, Marcus murmured to himself. All you have to do is put all the pieces of the puzzle together. He then decided to discreetly follow Cole. With the help of some trusted FBI colleagues, Marcus installed cameras around the areas where Cole used to boast about his exploits, intimidation of civilians, abusive checks, and sometimes even minor thefts. A few days later, the evidence began to accumulate. Marcus had managed to record several incidents where Cole abused his power: harassment of local shopkeepers, humiliation of young citizens, and blatant racist behavior. Meanwhile, Elena Martinez remained his silent but constant support. Every evening, she sent him messages to encourage him and provide him with information about Cole that she had been able to obtain from her colleagues. Cole is starting to feel like he's being watched, she wrote to him one evening. He's paranoid. If he continues like this, he'll betray himself. Marcus smiled as he read these words. He knew that patience would be his greatest ally. The retaliation would not be brutal, but methodical. Each piece of evidence gathered brought Cole a little closer to the downfall he deserved. A week later, Marcus had compiled a complete file: videos, testimonies, and physical evidence. He was ready. The next step would be the public exhibition, but for now, he continued to observe Cole, noting his reactions and weaknesses. Marcus had transformed his initial humiliation into a formidable weapon: the truth. And he knew one thing for certain: Darren Cole would regret the day he had dared to attack him. On the morning of the official meeting, FBI headquarters was buzzing with activity. Marcus Reynolds, calm but determined, entered the room with his complete file under his arm. Elena Martinez was already there, sitting in the front row, her eyes fixed on the door through which Cole was to enter. Darren Cole arrived with his usual air of superiority, completely unaware of the storm that awaited him. He stepped forward, nodded to the officials present, then settled in, thinking that everything would proceed as usual. The FBI director, an imposing man named Richard Holloway, opened the meeting. "We are here to examine a very serious complaint concerning a local police officer and his conduct toward a federal agent." Marcus then spoke. His voice was calm and composed, but each word resonated in the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to see is evidence of abuse of power and systemic racism. This officer, Darren Cole, humiliated and robbed an FBI agent, and this is just one example among many." He then presented the videos, testimonies, and physical evidence. The footage showed Cole harassing innocent civilians, intimidating them, and stealing personal belongings, just as he had done to Marcus. A murmur rippled through the room. Some members of the local police department stared at Cole in astonishment, while others averted their eyes, ashamed of having tolerated such behavior. Cole, pale and trembling, tried to justify himself. This isn't what it seems," he stammered. Director Holloway raised his hand to interrupt Cole. "Silence. The evidence speaks for itself. You abused your position and broke the law. You will be charged with theft and intimidation. Your career is over." Elena Martinez placed a reassuring hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Justice has been served," she murmured. Cole left the room under the cold, accusing gaze of everyone present. For the first time, he realized the extent of his downfall. All his lies and arrogance could no longer save him. Marcus, retrieving his wallet and papers, felt an immense weight lift from his shoulders. But beyond personal satisfaction, he knew the message he was sending was far more important. No racism, no injustice could go unpunished when one had the courage and determination to fight for the truth. A few weeks after Darren Cole's exposure, calm seemed to have returned to FBI headquarters. But Marcus Reynolds knew that true justice wasn't measured solely by the punishment of the guilty, it was also measured by the impact one's actions had on others. One morning, Marcus received a call from Elena Martinez. "Marcus, Cole has been formally charged. His victims have been contacted, and some have received formal apologies from the local police department. Everything is in order." Marcus smiled slightly, feeling a mixture of relief and satisfaction. "Thank you, Elena. I knew I could count on you." Elena replied with a small smile, "You have done more than prove your innocence. You have shown that integrity and perseverance can triumph over hatred." In the days that followed, Cole was permanently suspended, and his name became synonymous with abuse of power and institutional racism. The other officers who had witnessed his actions understood that silence and complicity could have serious consequences. Marcus, for his part, resumed his daily life. But he could not forget that initial humiliation, which had almost broken him. He understood that his patience, his method, and his composure had been his best weapons. One evening, as he was leaving the FBI office, Marcus looked up at the Washington, D.C. sky. The city lights twinkled as if celebrating a silent victory. "Justice always catches up with those who abuse their power," he murmured. Elena, walking beside him, placed her hand on his shoulder. "And let's never forget that we all have the power to change things, one act at a time." That day, Marcus realized that true revenge lay not in public humiliation or anger, but in truth revealed, dignity preserved, and the message left to those who might one day think that racism and corruption are invincible. Cole, meanwhile, sank into professional oblivion and public shame, and for Marcus and Elena, justice had found its way, discreet but implacable.